bring in Jim Nantz, who called the game with Tony Romo. First of all, Jim, thanks for joining us. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Dan. I'm doing well. I'm still confused myself.
Okay, it took you when did you and Tony Romo realize that this wasn't just where we review every touchdown? This was, did he actually have possession?
Well, if you were watching, obviously we weren't on it right away. It took us a little while to comprehend why they were taking so long with the replay. I wish we were a little bit quicker, but that's live television. But it's still to this day, this whole catch, no catch thing. It's the biggest issue I have with the rules in the NFL, and I fight it and bring it up almost every other week. I would say that, man, it's just so confusing to the fan, and I don't know how you change the language on it. I get it. I know what it says about you must survive the ground. That sounds pretty dramatic, but it leaves a lot of people really unhappy in the end.
But you weren't alone with it, as we're all watching it. So, I think that we thought that's a touchdown. And, was it an athletic move? Is there too much replay?
I think replay is good. Listen, I mean, it's, you have to, there's no going back on that, first off. I think it's an exceptional benefit. I don't want to go back to the days where you just say, nope, you got to eyeball it and call it that way. But what was particularly tricky about it last night was that there was no argument on the field. It's not like anybody was immediately trying to present a case on the field that it was incomplete. There was a celebration going on. The Patriots looked like they had accepted the fact that they had just driven on them in 2 plays. Of course, this also spawns a larger discussion, too, of what happened after, the ruling came down from Riveron, how the Steelers decided to handle the backside of that. And I just left Pittsburgh this morning. I'm in O'Hare right now, just waiting to fly home. And, anybody wants to talk about it, man, it gets back to that play. There was so much riding on it.
Yeah.
To think that, the AFC Championship host site, in all likelihood, comes down to a call from 350 miles away. And I don't know how you better the system or how you redefine the catch, but I know this, listening to Pittsburgh radio earlier this morning and watching you guys last night, and I heard what Tony said with you, and then I saw what that local television said after the game. Was there any argument that James had already made a football move and had already completed the catch, and then in an effort to reach the ball across, the ball came loose? There's a lot of people in Pittsburgh feeling that way about it today, but it's not going to get changed. There's nothing you can do about it now, but it's an astonishing way for a game that's the biggest game of the year to be decided.
How much tougher is it, if it is tougher, to call games now as opposed to 10 or 15 years ago?
I don't think it's harder. In fact, in some ways, it's easier. We take things for granted. Innovation and technology has come so far. And can you even imagine watching a game today without a first down marker, without the first down line? Well, we grew up watching football that way and trying to create guesswork, looking on your television screen at the far side of the field and see where the chains were and trying to estimate on your own how close they are to a first down. I mean, technology and innovation has helped the game, and I don't think that's the issue here. I just think it's a simple case of the catch rule, and there's going to be 3 examples that are going to be all-time cases presented: the Calvin Johnson catch, the Des Bryant catch, no catch, and then this one. And you could argue that, clearly the Calvin Johnson catch was at the start of the season. So this catch or no catch and the Des Bryant no catch are the 2 biggest ones to come down of all time with this language on catch, no catch.
But these are also important.
That would happen in a divisional playoff game, So, I mean, there's just such large stakes here for a season to be possibly decided by it.
Yeah, that was the point I was going to make, is that I know this happens week in and week out in the NFL, but then when we have the biggest stage here, I'm waiting for a Super Bowl to be decided by something like this, where it's a catch or not a catch. We even went back to the Broncos Super Bowl against the Cowboys. This was Super Bowl 12, I think.
Johnson?
Yes, that's not a touchdown today.
That would clearly not be a catch today. The Butch Johnson soaring through the air, and once he landed, the ball came out. That would not be a touchdown today by any means. And, I mean, I can't really argue with that now, but at the time we thought it was just an off-the-charts acrobatic catch. But today, that's not even one left for speculation. I'm not even sure even new language would trade the outcome of what happened in Super Bowl 12.
He's Jim Nantz of CBS. Called the game with Tony Romo. How hyper is Romo? And I mean in a good way. Like he probably has so much information processing, but he seems fired up. But it didn't feel that he played the position that way.
Well, there is, believe it or not, there's a calmness. I mean, I know what you're hearing over the air, but he's thinking very clearly, obviously, and his football acumen is off the charts. He is an absolute dream to work with. And, yes, he is very prepared. And, man, he is inside the helmet really for the full 60. It doesn't just ratchet up in the last 2 minutes of the game. He sees the field, and he thinks very clearly, cogent thoughts about where this is supposed to go. And I'm not talking about foreshadowing play calls. In fact, he does a lot less of that now than he did at the start of the season. It was interesting. Everybody, when they first heard Tony, they thought, man, he's going to predict every play. But I thought it was really unfair to Tony because he has so much more than just that. He has so many pitches in his arsenal. It's just fascinating to be with him. That's all I can say, and I'm loving every single minute of it. He's just brilliant. Yeah,
because there was the play where the Steelers nearly had the interception, and then, Tony even said, look, you can't give Brady another chance, and we saw him connect with Gronk 3 times and lead him down for the touchdown. I will leave you this. When I told the Danettes that we should reach out to you, the Danettes did have a question for you. They'd like to RSVP on your invitation to Pebble Beach to go to your house to have wine, since we'll be out there for the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. So it took a little bit of time. I hope that the invitation still stands and they want to RSVP.
Confirmed. It is absolutely confirmed. And we're going to have a little shootout in my backyard at my little 7th-hole replica. Okay, we'll play for prizes.
Ooh.
Too bad you can't do the show from there. But once you finish, you're just steps away from the house, and it'll be a great honor to have you and the Danettes.
Do we wear sweaters, like sweater vests, like tell us what to wear, because we're not normally dressed up, and it's your house. You got your wife and kids, and
I wear jeans 6 days a week.
This just in: Jim Nantz wears jeans 6 days a week. I do not believe that for a second.
Oh, you should see me right now.
You got jeans on?
Tattered. Oh, I promise you I do.
Wow.
Tattered jeans. Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. We just want to make sure that we're wearing the right thing when we go to the...
No, you're fine.
Okay.
There are no concerns about that. Listen, it's California lifestyle. It's, it's open door living where, inside, outside, weather's beautiful, warm sunshine, cool breezes. It's relaxed. No, this is very easy going. This is... nothing fancy about it.
All right, I love it. Maybe board shorts.
You got the wrong guy.
And a tank top.
Me with someone else. Yeah, that's fine.
Board shorts and a tank top and flip flops.
That's fine.
I love it.
You'll match my attire.
Safe travels back, Jim. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in February.
Can't wait to have you out there, Dan.
Thank you, bud.
Can't wait to have you, and the Danettes. Thanks, bud.
All right, that's Jim Nantz. Yeah, Jim came over last year to the set when we were at Pebble Beach Pro-Am. He had his golf cart. So he lives that close to Pebble Beach that he just drove his golf cart. And he said, would love to have had you guys over for some wine. And then, we were like, why didn't you tell? I didn't know that. I didn't know that we could go over to Jim Nantz's house. And then the Danettes this morning were going, can we RSVP now? Like it's 8 months, 9 months later. But 3 months or 2 months before we get out there, it feels like an open invite. So we'll have some wine. I think he did a replica of the 12th at Pebble Beach, or at the 7th at Pebble Beach. Okay, yeah. So he recreated one of my favorite holes in all the golf.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.